Moving to Atlanta, Georgia, don't choose the wrong part of Buckhead. Stick to these areas so that you get the right place to live. Buckhead is not just one part of Atlanta. There are multiple different sections of Buckhead. And so very often people who want to live in Buckhead, they're trying to figure out which is the right area for them because you don't want to have to deal with unnecessary traffic. You don't want to be in an area that has high crime. You don't want to have to deal with certain parts of Buckhead living if that's not what you are looking for. So let's talk about the areas of Buckhead that you might want to stay away from and the areas of Buckhead that are right for you. There are 4 parts of Buckhead, and I'm going to tell you where you don't want to be, but I'm also going to tell you where you do want to be. So let's talk about these 4 areas in Buckhead, Atlanta. First of all, Buckhead is a neighborhood of Atlanta. It's not really a city. It's not a suburb of Atlanta. It's like a district or neighborhood of Atlanta. South of Buckhead would be Midtown, and then south of Midtown would be downtown. And so Buckhead is like the northernmost part of the city of Atlanta. Very often, the residents of Buckhead want to kind of annex themselves away from Atlanta. This has been going on for as long as I can remember. I just don't foresee the city of Atlanta being willing to let go of Buckhead. Like the overwhelming majority of the property taxes from the city of Atlanta come from Buckhead. And so I can understand why the residents of Buckhead are upset with this. You know, this is one of the safest parts of Atlanta. And so the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And so you have some other parts of Atlanta that do get more attention from the city, but aren't paying the same amount in taxes. So naturally, the residents of Buckhead, that's why they're trying to annex themselves away. But this is going to be a continuing struggle that I don't foresee being resolved anytime soon. But in the meantime, Buckhead is one of the best parts of Atlanta. Certainly many people choose this area to move to because they want to find that kind of family-friendly atmosphere. They want that city lifestyle. But if you live in the wrong part of Buckhead, you're going to be not having all of these things. You might have that family-friendly lifestyle, but you won't have the city lifestyle. And so let's talk about these different areas of Buckhead. What's up, y'all? My name is Victor with Atlanta Suburban Living. We put out videos every week about what it's like to live in Atlanta and the suburbs of Atlanta. The first area of Buckhead that you want to take a look at is the urban area or the urban core. This would be like the Buckhead Village area or the Lenox and Phipps corridor. Right around these areas is where you're going to have the most amount of that kind of urban city life. You won't be car dependent. You could easily walk around to the different parts of Buckhead. And so if you lived in this area, it would be very easy to get around to many different parts of Buckhead. This is also where you're going to find a lot of shops and restaurants. Lenox and Phipps are like super high-end shopping areas that are very popular when it comes to living in Buckhead. And so you have no end of amazing restaurants and amazing shopping in this area. Now, this is not the right area if you are looking for that family-friendly lifestyle and like the big backyard with the golden retriever and like you're looking for that kind of home, then this is not really the right area. There are more so like condos and townhomes in this kind of Buckhead Village, Lenox, Phipps area. More condos, more townhomes, less single-family residences with backyards. I don't know that there's like any backyards actually in this area. And so certainly something to think about. This is not the area that I would suggest if you're looking for that kind of living, but we are going to talk about where you would want to live in Buckhead. This area is more so maybe for like young professionals or retirees who don't want to cut the grass. They don't want the backyard. Can I get one of these without having to cut the backyard? And so this is a great area for those people. You know, you don't want to have the car. You want to be able to walk to the restaurant in the evening or maybe walk to work, 5-minute walk. lots of employers, lots of economy right there in this area. It's all very centralized. The next area of Buckhead is like the stately or historic part of Buckhead. So down West Paces Ferry Road to the west of Buckhead Village, this is where Buckhead becomes a bit more historic. You got a lot more older buildings here, older homes here. The Tuxedo Park area, like this is like classic, historic, stately part of Buckhead. And so this is not the right area if you're looking for a budget condo. If you're a young professional and like you just moved to Buckhead and you're trying to find that like super less expensive condo living, this is not the right area for that. If you are looking for that kind of stately living and you are looking for that big backyard, then this is the right area for that. Tuxedo Park is about 1.5 miles from Buckhead Village. So while it is technically walkable, if you could do 1.5 miles, it's not like the most common thing. This is not what most people do. Typically, you will own a vehicle if you live in this part of Buckhead, and then you would just drive to these restaurants or the shopping, things like that, that are closer to Lenox and Phipps or Buckhead Village. If you're thinking about moving to this area, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. Thank you so much to everybody who has reached out. I'm always happy to help. I'm a local realtor in the area, and I'm happy to help. Even if you just have a question about what it's like to live in the Buckhead area, happy to help with that. But this Tuxedo Park area, this West Paces Ferry Road area, is very different from the Buckhead Village area. The next one on the list is the more family-friendly area of Buckhead, kind of south of Buckhead Village, like Garden Hills or Peachtree Hills. These neighborhoods are definitely where you're going to find those single-family residences with the yard and the lots of families with kids. Especially, I know many people are looking for neighborhoods where they have kids and then they have like other kids and they kind of have that kind of camaraderie or that community. You know, they want their kids to have friends in the neighborhood. Like this is the area for that. Those neighborhoods south of Buckhead Village are far more common to find that kind of family-friendly atmosphere. And then same thing in this area, not really as walkable as living in one of the condos of Buckhead Village. You would most likely own a vehicle to get 1 mile or 2 down the road to all of the centralized part of Buckhead, the shopping and the restaurants. This part of Buckhead, this kind of south of Buckhead Village, Peachtree Hills, Garden Hills, this is a bit more of quiet neighborhood kind of feel. So if you're a young professional who is wanting that kind of walkability and easy to get around to all the things, this is not really the right area for you. Especially if you're looking for like a condo or townhome, these areas down here south of Buckhead Village are a lot less condos, less townhomes, and more so houses like single family residences. And so much more suited for a family in this area of Buckhead. This next area of Buckhead is the Chastain Park areas, like the park life where you've got plenty of green space. And then Chastain Park is obviously one of the best parts of this area. Lots of green space here in that area, tennis courts, golf courses. This is where you may find some retirees, but also some families in this area as well. And so again, very different kind of lifestyle than the urban part of Buckhead. You have lots of single family residences, houses in this Chastain Park area, but keep in mind that it does border Sandy Springs to the north. Sandy Springs is just north of Chastain Park, and so you've got that kind of more suburban feel in Chastain Park. And so it is far more quiet than these other parts of Buckhead that we have been talking about, far more like that kind of suburban feel. Very often people who are looking for that city living and that kind of urban living, they specifically don't want the suburban life. And so Chastain Park is not really the right area for someone who is looking for the city amenities and the easy walkability, the proximity to everything, because it's more of a quiet area. Now, if you are looking for that kind of suburban life, but you still want to be in Buckhead, Chastain Park is a perfect area for that. You are going to have the easy access via car to Buckhead, but you're also going to be able to get that quick getaway away from the city, 5 to 10 minute drive to Chastain Park to live in the more suburban area. So Buckhead is certainly one of the best parts of Atlanta. So many people have heard of Buckhead, and there's no wonder why. I mean, you have some of the best lifestyles, the best living, the best homes, shopping, the community is all here in Buckhead. And so this is a great place to live, but there certainly are some downsides that you need to be aware of if you plan on living here. Some huge red flags that could possibly keep you away from wanting to live in Buckhead. And so really having the whole picture before you move here is super important, and is certainly a priority of ours here at the channel. We want to make sure that you understand everything about these cities before you choose these areas to live in. So we've made an entire video outlining the pros and the cons of living in Buckhead. You can check it out right here. I'll see you in the next one.